Since the bike videos on this channel have been by far the most popular, I would like to give an update on the Ozone Fragment 29-inch mountain bike. This isn't really a review. That doesn't appear to be necessary as the bike seems to no longer be in stock at Academy Sports and Outdoors. From what I have been able to gather, this bike was part of a recall in 2021. This is due to the locking hardware on the front wheel being able to come loose. This could result in instability, posing a fall and injury hazard. I was unaware of this recall and have had no problems with the bike. However, my opinion might not be very relevant, since I am not an avid rider. I only have 265.78 miles over the last 5 years. This is not an estimate either. The Samsung Galaxy Health and Fitness app has kept a meticulous record of every second I have been on this bike since the day I bought it. The last time I rode it was August 15, 2024, for 3.34 miles. In fact, 5 years is not really accurate. This bike has been ridden 51 times for 28 hours. From August 29, 2020, when it was purchased in the height of the COVID bike shortage, to November 1, 2020, this bike was ridden 31 times. That was mostly due to the novelty of the bike, and not much else to do back in 2020. In 2021, this bike was ridden 3 times. Twice in January, once in March. 2022 saw a modest comeback to riding, with 16 rides between March 15th and November 5th, 2022. Most of those rides can be seen on this channel. This bike was not ridden at all in 2023, and only 2 rides in 2024. One on June 15th and my final ride on August 15th. I give all of that information to say that this bike isn't really 5 years old, it's 2 months old, as far as wear and tear goes. So, imagine my surprise to find my bike with a completely deflated rear tire last week. When I removed the inner tube, I discovered this catastrophic damage. I have no idea how, or when, this happened because, as I said, I haven't ridden the bike in more than a year and hadn't even looked at it in 3 months. The last time I touched this bike was sometime back in the summer when I noticed that the tires were a little low from sitting in my garage for so long. I didn't have to put that much air in them. This blowout did not occur while I was inflating the tire. It could have occurred 3 months ago or last week. I was looking in my garage for something else when I discovered my bike lying on the floor with a flat back tire. I will say that if you have watched my other bike video, the same thing happened to that bike. I came home from work to discover the bike lying on the floor with a blown out rear tire. That failure happened after only a few days, which is why I returned it. I've had this bike for 5 years. The only explanation I can come up with is, the owner's manual states that it is better to use a hand pump to inflate the tires. My tires show a maximum of 40 psi. I have had bikes since I was 4 years old and never gave a second thought to using an electric air compressor, and my air compressor has a pressure gauge. I also have a nice digital tire gauge. Despite that, overinflation seems to be the only plausible explanation for such a catastrophic failure, but the front tire was inflated to the same pressure and is just fine. I don't want to say that the factory inner tubes that came with this bike are cheap or flimsy. They did last 5 years, but the ones I bought from Walmart are noticeably thicker. Since I am going to have to replace the rear inner tube, I decided that I might as well just replace both at the same time, which led me to a little bit of an adventure. The Ozone Fragment has very deep rims. They require an inner tube with a 60mm valve stem. The inner tubes you get off of the shelf at Walmart don't have valves that long. My first solution was to purchase some valve extenders. Those don't work on this bike, they are too thick to push through the rim. I was eventually able to find tubes with long enough valves on Amazon, and get the bike reassembled and up and running again. Given that this bike is under recall, likely discontinued, and more than 5 years old, I certainly can't get another one. So, I made sure that I really tightened the front wheel down. There is nothing in the owner's manual about using a torque wrench to tighten it down to a specific pressure. What I will probably do is take this bike to a repair shop and have it thoroughly inspected before riding it again. even though I didn't do that when I bought it and had no issues. This feels like a good time to do it, since I only seem to ride bikes in even numbered years, 2026 being just around the corner. I will put some effort into getting on the bike more. Thanks for watching.